Hi guys, Glam by Sophie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So watch me as I glam my gorgeous client for her birthday shoot. So first thing I did was to identify her skin type, after which I asked her if I could carve her brows and she said
anything you want to do. I'm leaving it up to you.
Then I proceeded to carve her brows. I didn't really do much because her brow is thin, it's not so thick, so I just removed the excesses around the brow just to make the surrounding neat. Then I went with my micellar water and wipes to cleanse the face. I take cleaning very seriously because it's important you work on a very clean canvas. So I clean as much as possible. Then I went in with my toner to nourish her skin and to also help retain the moisturizer that's going to sit on her skin afterwards. So I just use my cotton swab for that. Then I went with my hydrating serum. This is because she has a very dry skin. Her skin is dehydrated and it needs all the hydration it can get so her makeup can sit properly. So I applied the serum on the entire parts of her face using my prep brush, after which I went in with my hands to properly massage it into the skin. You know, I like to massage very well into the skin so that the product can penetrate very well. Then I allowed it to dry. Then I went in with my moisturizer to add more moisture and hydration to her face. So I use this Blossom Moist Essence for that. Here I applied with my brush, then I also blended into the skin very well, making sure it penetrates into the skin and not just sit on her surface. You can see how hydrated her skin is looking at the moment. For the primer, I used an hydrating primer for her skin. Remember I said her skin is dry, so it doesn't need any mattifying product. All it needs is just hydrating product. So I used an hydrating primer on all parts of the face except the under eye. Lastly, I went with my mattifying primer on the brows as always. Y'all know I like to put mattifying primer on the brows. So if you have an oily skin or a dry skin, whatever the skin type you have, I always do this process. Finally, for the skin prep, I went with my primer spray just to lock in all the skin prep. Now that her skin is fully prepped, I'm going in with my foundation and of course my beauty blender to apply and blend my foundation. You can see how the foundation is sitting very pretty on her skin. That's because her skin is well prepped. So I'm just going to be distributing and blending the foundation all over the face. Now don't forget this part of the face, do not skip it. It is very important your foundation get to all that parts so that it won't look like your marks by the time you are done with the makeup. Don't think that all that part is not part of the face. Do not put foundation on the neck, but you can put your foundation on the jaw. That way it's not going to look like a marks when you are done. So after properly blending my foundation, I went in with the foundation still on the her hairline because of she did packing gel and I wanted it to make sure that the scalp blends in with her foundation. Then I applied my cream blush. I already mixed my cream blush because I like to use 2 shades. Guys, I never use one shade of anything. I'm always mixing. I'm literally always mixing. I'm mixing my powders, I'm mixing my foundations, I'm mixing everything, and that gives me the perfect skin finish that way. So yeah guys, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Please, if you are a new viewer, please kindly do subscribe to the channel. Put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Like and comment and also share. If you are an existing subscriber, I want to thank you especially for sticking to the channel. Thank you for watching my videos. And then for the highlight, I went in with my Ferrarici concealer, and right now this is the new method I use. I don't apply concealer on the skin first before blending. I just go in straight with my beauty blender, and I think so far I'm enjoying this method. So after blending my concealer, I went in with my powder to set So guys, it's important for you to keep blending off harsh lines. Any visible harsh lines you see, blend it off, do not ignore it. Then I went in with the bronzer, to add structure to our face, to snatch our face, add depth, to those parts of our face. So I did the same thing on the other side and then proceeded to the forehead. Then after contouring and snatching the nose, I went in with my powder blush to add color to her cheeks. Yeah. Always remember to be light-handed when you're using your brush. Don't be too hard. Don't be too fast. Don't be too aggressive. Do everything calmly. Be as calm as you can. Be as light-handed as you can, so your brush won't leave rough patches. Your brush won't take off product. Instead, it would apply instead of taking off. So after applying the blush, I went for that with my powder, my finishing powder, of course using my powder brush. So that is me just dabbing. Remember, it is important you do dabbing method for your first layering of powder. So that is me just dabbing in my powder into the skin. I make sure to use enough so that her face stays matte all day. It doesn't transfer or get sticky at the long run. So that's me setting the entire part of the face with the finishing powder. And yes, I always go over the contour and the blush with the finishing powder just to make sure everything blends in all together. If you have a popping highlight and you feel you need to tone down the highlight, you can go over the highlights with your finishing powder. That way you will reduce the brightness of the highlights. To bake, I use the setting powder in shade honey to bake, and then I did the reverse contouring, after which I went into our eyebrow. So I already tamed the eyebrow, then I'm setting it with the same setting powder to eliminate shine from the brow, from the gel, and also make the outline pop as much as I want. So here's me using my very flat angle brush and my brow gel to outline her brow. You have to carefully trace the lower and upper outline to make sure you are not deviating from the client's brow shape. Follow the direction of her hair so that you can get her exact shape. It is very, very easy for you to get your client's brow shape if you follow what you are saying. Don't try to draw your own desired brow shape on your client's face. No, you can do all that if you're working on your model or whatever. When you're working on your model, you know that okay, you're doing what you want. But when you're working on a client, you have to make sure everything you're doing aligns with your client's facial features and also her personality. So that's me shading the brows after doing the outline. So because she's a medium to dark skin client, I want the brow. She's actually a lot darker than this, but the effect from lighting. That is why I don't work with lights when I'm working. I don't work with my makeup lights when I'm working. I like them turned off. So for the outline, I had to use a dark brow gel to trace the outline again so that it can pop and make the brow look more defined and more beautiful. So for my shades, I'm using my Davis pencil to shade out the brow and do my strokes. So here's me concealing the eyebrow to make it pop using my very flat round brush and my Ferrarucci concealer to just clean the outline of the brow to make it pop. I'm not trying to reduce the brow in any way. I'm just tracing what I already drew there. If you draw your brow well, it's going to make concealing a lot easier and faster. Here I'll blend out the concealer before setting with my finishing powder to make sure that the brow bone is not looking creamy all day. So blend and then set with the finishing powder. For the eyes, I did a wing cut crease, so I'm doing the transition first. So I started transitioning with the brown, with a very brown shade from my palette, after which I went in with a black shade to deepen the crease. Remember, it's a wing cut crease I'm trying to do, and plus her skin shade, I have to make sure I use colors that is dark enough so that when I do the cutting it will pop. So this is me just blending out the crease with the black and brown. You have to blend very well. Don't just apply it and leave it looking harsh. And I went back with the brown shade to still neutralize the black a little bit. I don't want it too dark, at the same time I don't want it too light. Then I went in with a lighter shade to blend out the crease, that is blending out the space between the brow bone and the black. To cut the crease, I use the same flat brush I use for concealing the brow and the same concealer. Make sure you're using a concealer that is creamy or an eyeshadow base that is creamy. That way it will be easy for you to do the cutting and maintain a neat and precise line. So this is me cutting the wing. I don't want it too wide. At the same time, I don't want it too small. So I'm just cutting just her eyelid. I'm not extending my hands upward. So I cut till they are even, the lines are straight. If you're a makeup artist, you already know by now that cut crease takes so much time, patience, total concentration for you to achieve what you want, which is why we only do cut crease for luxury sessions. So this is a luxury makeup session for my clients for a birthday shoots. Yeah, so I winged out the cutting, made it very, very sharp and neat. Look at how beautiful the wing cut crease looks. So after cutting, I went into blending off the concealer before putting my eyeshadow. You have to make sure you blend off the excess concealer there before going in with your eyeshadow. If not, the eyeshadow will break. So I use this sweet matte shade on the entire cut crease. You can decide to mix your colors if you want. You can decide to use shimmer if you want. You can decide to use a more bold color if you want. It's your choice. So I use this one matte nude shade all through, and it looks so beautiful. Make sure the eyeshadow does not cross the cutting. Make sure it doesn't cross the cutting. That is the beauty of a cut crease. You know, we have different types of cut crease now. We have the full cut crease, half cut crease, which can be 50-50, 70-30, or your 30-70. Then we have the wing cut crease. Then we have the halo eyes or your sunsets. Right. Then we also have a double cut crease. So I just make sure that the eyelid is fully covered with the eyeshadow before I proceed to other things. So I use this black to smoke out just that part of the eyelid because I wasn't going to do eyeliner. So I just wanted it to darken that place a little bit. So yeah, I went in with the waterline. This is a black gel from Parlor Beauty, and I'm using a very flat angle brush to apply the waterline on the tear ducts and the waterline area. I also smoked it out to the lower eyelid because I want that kind of smoked out effect on that there. So for somebody that have a round eyes, you want to make sure that for the waterline color you are using black and not white. So that is why I used black in her case to make her eye appear a bit smaller. Then I smoked out the black on the lower eyelid to give me a smoked out effect. After which I went out to blend it with an orange shade just to eliminate harsh lines. Fix my lashes. Here I'm dusting off my baking powder already. And you see how bright and popping the under eye is beginning to look like. So because I placed my setting powder on the nose, I had to go back with my contour brush, the nose contour brush, just to make sure they are even. Finally, I just went back with my finishing powder to do a little bit of finishing touch before the lip. So neatly trace the lip line before going in with the filling shade for the middle parts. Then I went in for that to gloss her lips because she wants them glossy. She wanted the lips glossy. So yeah, I do not apply my lip stains directly onto my client lips. So I always put it at the back of my hands and then I use a brush to apply it as I'm doing here. At this stage, the makeup is already 99% done. Look at how gorgeous, how beautiful the makeup is. Then I use my seal and lock spray to just lock the makeup in. Look at how beautiful the makeup looks without light. So gorgeous. See how it looks under natural lighting. Now this brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to patronize us. Come for your training if you're around Ojo Lagos. And also please kindly subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye.